They never force you. They guide you quietly. A question here, a compliment there, a pause long enough to make you uncomfortable. You start explaining, over-justifying, trying to regain balance you didn't realize you lost. That is not random. That is psychological positioning. Most men think manipulation is loud, aggressive, obvious. It isn't. It is subtle pressure. It is emotional timing. It is knowing when to speak and when to withdraw. Power does not shout. It calculates. Every interaction is a hierarchy. Every conversation is a silent negotiation of dominance. Every emotional reaction you show is data. And data creates leverage. If someone can predict your reaction, they can control your outcome. Understand this clearly. The world is divided into two categories: those who master emotional energy and those who are mastered by it. Right now, someone in your life understands your emotional triggers better than you do. That is dangerous, because emotion moves decisions. Decisions create consequences. Consequences shape your life. If you react impulsively, you surrender control. If you seek validation, you surrender power. If you chase approval, you surrender position. From this moment forward, that stops. You observe before you respond. You detach before you engage. You think before you feel. Type this in the comments. I am emotionally untouchable, because the man who cannot be emotionally moved cannot be strategically defeated. Stay focused. This is where the transformation begins. Control begins with awareness, not awareness of others, awareness of yourself. Most manipulation succeeds for one reason: unexamined emotion, a careless need for validation, an unconscious fear of abandonment, an ego that demands recognition, a pride that cannot tolerate disrespect. These are entry points. No one controls a man who understands his own weaknesses, but a man who denies them. Easy to move, easy to provoke, easy to destabilize. Machiavellian strategy is not about cruelty, it is about clarity. You must audit yourself like an enemy would. What triggers you? What insults pierce too deeply? What kind of silence makes you anxious? What kind of praise makes you soften? Every trigger is a button. Every button can be pressed. The disciplined man removes the buttons. He does not eliminate emotion, he masters it. When insulted, he observes. When praised, he questions. When ignored, he remains steady. When tested, he becomes colder. Reaction is surrender. Stillness is dominance. Understand this law. Whoever makes you emotional controls the tempo. Whoever controls the tempo controls the battlefield. You must slow everything down. Pause before speaking. Pause before texting back. Pause before defending yourself. Emotion seeks speed. Power demands patience. Your silence forces others to reveal more. Your calm exposes insecurity. Your neutrality creates psychological pressure. When you stop reacting, people grow uncomfortable. That discomfort gives you leverage. Write this in the comments. I move with control. Because the man who moves with control cannot be rushed into weakness. From now on, observe your impulses like a strategist. Study your patterns like a scientist. Correct them like a commander. Self-mastery is the foundation of emotional manipulation. If you cannot command yourself, you will be commanded by someone else. Stay disciplined. We are sharpening the blade. Every interaction operates inside a frame. The frame defines meaning. The frame defines value. The frame defines who is seeking and who is choosing. Most men walk into conversations without awareness of this structure. That is why they lose before they speak. If you enter seeking approval, you lower your position. If you enter defensive, you concede authority. If you enter reactive, you surrender dominance. The frame is psychological territory. Whoever defines reality in the interaction holds power. If someone labels you insecure and you rush to prove strength, you accepted their frame. If someone withdraws and you chase, you accepted their frame. If someone tests you and you over-explain, you accepted their frame. Power is not about forcing outcomes. It is about refusing imposed narratives. The disciplined man does not argue inside another person's structure. He resets it. Accusation. he remains calm. Provocation, he smiles slightly. Emotional pressure, he slows down. Calmness destabilizes manipulators. When you do not react as expected, the psychological script breaks. Silence becomes weight. Eye contact becomes authority. Minimal words become command. You must understand this principle deeply. The one who seeks less controls more. Detachment creates intrigue. Scarcity creates value. Certainty creates hierarchy. Never rush to clarify yourself. Never rush to defend yourself. Never rush to prove yourself. Let others reveal their urgency. Urgency exposes desire. Desire reveals weakness, and weakness creates leverage. From now on, speak with intention. Respond with measured tone. Allow pauses to breathe. The pause forces the other person to fill silence. In filling it, they reveal information. Information is power. Write this in the comments. I define the frame. Because the man who defines the frame defines the outcome. Emotional manipulation begins here, not by attacking, but by positioning. Hold the frame, and you hold the power. Emotion is not weakness. Uncontrolled emotion is. Most people confuse passion with power. They mistake intensity for dominance. They believe expression equals strength. It doesn't. Emotional excess creates exposure. Exposure creates leverage. Leverage invites control. The disciplined man feels everything, but reveals selectively. Detachment is not indifference. It is calculated restraint. When someone attempts to provoke you, they are fishing for reaction. Anger gives them proof. Defensiveness gives them confirmation. Over-explanation gives them advantage. Calm denies them ammunition. Understand this clearly. The person who cares less about the outcome controls the dynamic. Attachment creates fear. Fear creates compliance. If you are afraid to lose someone, you become negotiable. If you are afraid of disapproval, you become adjustable. If you are afraid of conflict, you become controllable. Strategic detachment removes fear. You must train yourself to observe emotional spikes in real time. Notice the heat rising. Notice the urge to respond immediately. Notice the impulse to correct perception. Then do nothing. Silence under pressure is psychological dominance. When you remain steady, others begin to question their tactics. Their attempts lose impact. Their words lose force. Their strategies collapse. Cold composure forces respect, not because you demand it, but because you cannot be moved. Emotional manipulation requires one core discipline. Never let another person dictate your internal state. If your mood shifts because of their tone, you gave away power. If your confidence fluctuates because of their opinion, you handed them influence. Your internal stability must become unshakable. Write this in the comments. My emotions obey me, because the man whose emotions obey him cannot be emotionally owned. Detachment sharpens perception. Perception sharpens strategy. Strategy secures dominance. From now on, you do not react. You calculate, and calculation always defeats chaos. Noise is weakness. The need to explain, the urge to defend, the impulse to respond instantly, all signals of insecurity. Silence, when controlled, is pressure. Most people speak to relieve tension. Strong men let tension build. Silence forces the other person to think, to guess, to doubt. Doubt destabilizes confidence. When confronted with accusation, pause. When baited with insult, hold eye contact. When given emotional intensity, lower your tone. Your calm becomes dominance. Understand this law. The one who speaks less controls more. Words reveal strategy. Words reveal insecurity. Words reveal desire. The less you reveal, the less you can be manipulated. Silence creates mystery. Mystery creates perceived power. Perceived power influences behavior. If someone pressures you for an answer, delay it. Time shifts leverage. If someone demands reassurance, offer composure instead. Certainty unsettles those who rely on emotional tactics. Do not rush to fill conversational gaps. Do not over-clarify your intentions. Do not expose internal reasoning. Information is currency. Spend it carefully. The disciplined man listens more than he speaks, observes more than he reacts, collects more than he reveals. When others talk, they expose their priorities, their fears, their motives. Let them. Silence is not absence. It is calculated restraint. In negotiation, silence forces concessions. In conflict, silence forces escalation from the weaker side. In attraction, silence creates pursuit. Strategic quietness magnifies presence. Write this in the comments. My silence has weight. Because the man whose silence carries weight never needs to raise his voice. From now on, speak deliberately. Pause intentionally. Withhold strategically. Control the tempo, and you control the outcome. Reality is not what is. Reality is what is perceived. Power does not rely on brute force. It relies on interpretation. If people perceive you as reactive, they test you. If people perceive you as uncertain, they pressure you. If people perceive you as dependent, they control you. Perception shapes behavior. The disciplined man understands this. He engineers impressions with precision. Composure signals authority. Measured speech signals confidence. Selective availability signals value. Never reveal your full intent too early. Clarity too soon reduces intrigue. Predictability reduces leverage. Ambiguity, when controlled, creates psychological advantage. If someone cannot fully read you, they proceed cautiously. Caution equals respect. Your posture communicates hierarchy. Your pace communicates control. Your tone communicates dominance. Lower your voice under pressure. Slow your movements in conflict. Maintain eye contact without aggression. Controlled energy unsettles unstable minds. Do not chase approval. Do not perform for validation. Do not overshare to create connection. Connection without mystery weakens position. Let others wonder. Let others interpret. Let others fill in gaps. People project their own assumptions onto silence. Assumptions create narratives. Narratives create influence. Understand this clearly. If you allow others to define you, you surrender authorship of your identity. Define yourself through behavior, not explanation. Consistency builds reputation. Reputation builds power. When your emotional state remains steady, your perceived strength increases. When you appear unfazed, pressure loses effect. Write this in the comments. I control perception, because the man who controls perception controls how others treat him. You are not here to dominate loudly. You are here to dominate subtly. Presence over performance, control over chaos, strategy over impulse, master perception, and you master the room without saying a word. Emotion rules most people. Desire blinds them, fear weakens them, ego exposes them. A disciplined man studies this without judgment. You do not condemn emotion. You analyze it. Watch what excites someone. Watch what offends them. Watch what they defend too quickly. Intensity reveals attachment. Attachment reveals vulnerability. If someone overreacts to disrespect, pride is the entry point. If someone fears distance, abandonment is the entry point. If someone craves praise, validation is the entry point. Every strong emotion is a door. Open it carefully. This is not about cruelty. It is about strategic awareness. When you understand what drives someone, you understand how to influence them. Offer recognition to the ego-driven. Offer security to the fearful. Offer challenge to the ambitious. Meet emotion with calculated response. Never expose your own leverage points. Desire quietly. Care privately. Plan internally. The moment your emotional dependency becomes visible, your negotiating power drops. Control the reward. Control the withdrawal. Control the pacing. Attention given too freely loses value. Attention given selectively increases demand. Scarcity amplifies influence. If someone pushes emotionally, reduce reaction. If someone withdraws strategically, remain centered. If someone tests boundaries, hold position calmly. Do not compete in emotional chaos. Lead it. Understand this law. The one who needs less controls more. Need creates urgency. Urgency creates mistakes. Detachment creates precision. Precision creates dominance. Write this in the comments. I use emotion strategically. Because the man who uses emotion strategically cannot be emotionally exploited. From now on, observe patterns, map motivations, respond with intention. Emotion is not your weakness, it is your instrument, and you are learning to play it with precision. Presence creates impact. Absence creates value. Most men overexpose themselves, too available, too responsive, too predictable. Predictability erodes power. Controlled presence builds tension. When you are always accessible, your attention becomes ordinary. When you are selective, your attention becomes earned. Scarcity sharpens perception. Strategic withdrawal is not avoidance, it is calibration. Step back when emotions escalate. Step back when pressure increases. Step back when someone expects immediate reaction. Space disrupts manipulation. Distance forces reassessment. Silence forces curiosity. Uncertainty forces pursuit. If your energy is constant, it becomes background noise. If your energy fluctuates strategically, it commands focus. The disciplined man understands pacing. He knows when to lean in. He knows when to lean back. He knows when to disappear without explanation. Not to punish, not to play games, but to maintain positioning. Constant reassurance lowers perceived strength. Constant availability lowers perceived value. Composure with boundaries elevates both. When someone tests you with distance, do not chase. When someone attempts to provoke urgency, slow down. When someone expects immediate compliance, delay. Time shifts leverage. A pause rebalances hierarchy. Understand this clearly. The one who can walk away controls the interaction. Dependency creates vulnerability. Self-sufficiency creates authority. Your life must feel full without external validation. Your time must feel valuable without external approval. When your presence feels optional, it loses power. When your presence feels selective, it gains influence. Write this in the comments. My presence is earned. Because the man whose presence is earned is never taken for granted. From now on, manage access to yourself. Protect your time. Control your availability. Appear when it serves you. Withdraw when it strengthens you. Power is not constant visibility. Power is controlled exposure. Power is not about controlling everyone. It is about never being controlled. At this level, manipulation no longer intimidates you. You recognize it instantly. You dissect it calmly. You neutralize it silently. No emotional spikes, no impulsive reactions, no desperate explanations, just awareness, just positioning, just control. You now understand the architecture. Control your emotions, control the frame, control perception, use silence, master presence, anticipate betrayal. This is not about becoming cruel, it is about becoming unmovable. When someone attempts pressure, you slow down. When someone attempts guilt, you detach. When someone attempts dominance, you remain composed. Composure under pressure is authority. Authority without noise is power. From this moment forward, your emotional state belongs to you alone. No one dictates it, no one manipulates it, no one destabilizes it. You operate with internal sovereignty. That is what makes a man untouchable. Most people will never reach this level. They will react, they will chase, they will overexpose. You will not. You will observe more than you speak. You will calculate more than you reveal. You will move with intention, not impulse. Write this in the comments right now. I am untouchable. Let that be your declaration. If this shifted your perspective, understand something. This is only one layer of the game. Power psychology runs deeper. Strategy goes further. Dominance becomes sharper. Study it, internalize it, re-watch it, because mastery is repetition. If you are serious about becoming emotionally sovereign, then commit. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay inside this circle of strategy. Comment one final time. I move in silence and control. This is not motivation. This is transformation. Stay sharp.